I believe we're recording. Hello. Hi, everybody. We're here with Christina Cornett. She is
Hello.
a concept artist and illustrator currently working at ZeniMax Studios on video games and stuff. Um, and yeah, do you have any other things to add, Christina?
Yes, that's me. I'm a concept artist working at ZeniMax. I've been working there, I think, for 3 going on 4 years, something like that. I don't know. Time flies, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
And just a disclaimer, none of my opinions reflect the opinions or views of my employer. So, just a little
important
disclaimer,
note. Yeah,
but really excited to be here. Thanks for having me. Thank
yeah,
you, Vision X, for sponsoring us being here today.
yeah. I'm a huge fan of Christina and her artwork, and I'm very excited to be here with her today.
Well, I'm excited that you're here.
Yeah, nice.
Is
Uh,
John in the background?
I believe John is in the background somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. Shout out to John.
Shout out to John.
All right,
Um,
I'm going to present
nice.
my screen. All right.
Cool. And if anyone has any questions, let me know in the chat and I will ask Christina.
Yes, please do. All right. Are we able to see this? Looks like we are.
Yeah, I can
Um,
see that.
so today's going to be a really informal day. Mostly because I just feel like having fun today and Christian's here and I know it's going to be a fun day. So I kind of just did like some practice last night. This stream is called Breathing Life into Characters, but for me, really, that's a lot about having fun. Um, and I think it's easy to not have fun when you're like learning and there's pressure. And so we kind of just want to get into that zone where you're like, oh, this is going to be really cool if I add this. Um, and because I'm obsessed with this world that I've been doing, every stream that I've been doing is like the McGraw family. We're going to do another McGraw. So let's go ahead and jump into another McGraw. I kind of did these warm ups last night just to kind of practice, like getting in the mindset for these characters. I want to, I'm going to pull up. I'm going to pull up just to give some context of what we're actually doing. I like to work in silhouette. Not everybody does, but there's something freeing about the way, at least in my opinion, that I like to do it because you give up a lot of control. So we're going to be doing some characters in this world, the McGraw world, just because they're super fun for me and I can just relax and get going. I did these a few years ago, actually, I think before I was hired. And I just kind of go back to them because they're super fun. But I worked in this way of doing silhouettes, and it's just a super fun way to work. You just let go. Um, so yeah, so here I am using line. Not everybody likes to do line. Not everybody likes to do silhouettes. When I'm working, I like to go between them. And this is because sometimes I just kind of get caught up in one or the other and I'm not getting what I want to. And then when I end up switching, right now, like you can see, I'm rusty. I'm not really warmed up. This is kind of just like, a little bit of a warm up, a little bit of like me getting into the stream, a little nervous, but that's okay. It's been a while since our last one, right, Christian?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's an important thing to note is that, every artist needs time to warm up and feel like they need to get their skills back. It's not like the confidence is always there.
Oh, for sure. I am
Yeah.
I am definitely one of those people who like I work better when I'm under pressure, but I'm confident, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, and I've talked to people before. It's like you train and you put in all this work studying masters and doing all that stuff in order to be able to perform on the spot when you have to. And if you make the information uh, intuitive, it's just going to come out when you need it most.
Yeah, the practice definitely it's definitely something that makes me able to go faster. Um, One thing that's actually kind of interesting is I work realistically for my job, because I work at ZeniMax and they do Elder Scrolls Online. So it's funny because like I'm going back to the stream for stylistic stuff, and like the realism part of me is like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
But really, the more that you train, like Christian said, I think the more this is just my experience, the more versatile you'll be. Right now, I see that I am really just doing the same thing as I just did. Um, and I don't want to do that because I'm not gaining anything here. This is just kind of, um, if I were working, this would be like a waste of time
Yeah.
because, yeah, it's like it's the same thing, and you really want to get a lot of diversity in your shapes.
Yeah, I've heard. I was talking to Scott Flanders about this, and he described a bit of this sort of process as like almost like having a conversation with yourself. You're going through, and you're
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, I like that. I don't like that. Or I'm getting derivative, or I like the direction that I'm going in." And I guess not really necessarily being judgmental towards your thoughts, but also, moving quickly enough to change them on the fly.
Right. Part of experience, I think, is being able to edit your actions and what you're doing, and seeing, like, judging your, not judging, that's a strong word, but kind of
Yeah.
seeing where you've been before. And that's kind of a reason why I shrunk down here, is just to sort of get that read easier of different shapes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just for context, even though, I don't know if people can still join after the stream starts. I guess they probably can. But I showed kind of where I was aiming to go, and I'm gonna try to do like a Western McGraw character by the end of the stream. But I want to talk about my thinking process too, because this is called Breathe Life into Characters. So I want to go back to that. Even though I didn't name it, I think
Yeah.
it's also applicable to what we're doing. Um, because when I'm doing silhouettes, I'm not trying to get something perfect. And I think when I was starting off, I was really trying to get something perfect. And I know sometimes people work differently. They work directly on top of their silhouette, um, and like start lining in. I will do that sometimes. But at the same time, there's a lot of freedom. And that's really what I think breathing life into characters is having or feeling the freedom to make those choices.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep doing a couple shapes. I'm going to stop at some point, but I'd love to know if anyone has any questions on this, because I don't know if I'm really, you know, illustrating what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. If anyone has any questions, feel free to uh, throw them in the chat. John asks, Christina, are you going to make a bartender?
I told John yesterday that
Yeah.
I might make a
Like,
bartender of
yeah.
him.
Oh, that'd be actually pretty cool.
Hey, if he hops in, I can see his face and
Yeah.
apply that, or yours. But oh,
Yeah.
there he is.
All
Hi,
right.
John.
Hello, John.
Welcome.
I had to hop on because the chance for you to make me a bartender was too great.
I would love to see this.
We got to give you a lot of drinks then.
Yeah.
I don't know what you look like other than your face, John,
He's
but
like
we're gonna do
really
some stuff.
tall. He's extremely tall.
Yeah, I'm
He,
6'3".
he's the
Oh,
tallest
dang.
Proko
Okay.
employee. Um,
Really, the tallest. Okay.
yeah, yeah. I, I,
I don't know about that. Steven's pretty tall too.
I don't know. I think it might be. I'm pretty sure you're taller.
Okay.
I don't know if it's his posture or something that if he were to extend fully, if he would be taller than you. But I see you as the taller person.
Okay.
The perception is that you're the tallest Proko employee.
What kind of bartender would he be? Would he be a good one?
I think I'm picturing like a German beer maid.
Beer maid.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
giving him a little Are you okay with me kind of being silly with your character, John?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm not gonna take offense.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're gonna get into the face at some point.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's hop in because we only have an hour and it ends on the hour. So let's
Yeah.
hop into one of these. I kind of like these last two. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
Which
the
one should I
last one
do?
is pretty John, I think.
All
I
right.
do
All
have
right.
broad
Yeah,
shoulders, so
yeah.
that
He's very much a
yeah,
triangle.
the
A
triangle.
triangle. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's think of some things about John's character that would be fun. What's the
Yeah.
story in my head? I don't know. This character looks like he's either like a young entrepreneur that kind of, but he looks kind of raggedy at the same time. So I don't know. Maybe he started up a business and like his tap room is empty and there's spider webs everywhere and his alcohol is old and there's like only like the worst kind of people in there and
Yeah, yeah.
the bustin' bars across the street.
Right.
Oh man.
I'm
So
sorry,
you
John. We
pictured
might
me
make
as a
you washed up.
failure? Yeah. Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
I not in real life, but this character kind of looks like he's a little washed up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do
No,
we
let's go
have
for it. Is
okay.
that a tumbler he's holding? Is that what that
It
is?
is. That
Okay.
is. All right, John.
I'm liking this.
All right. So I'm gonna do some iterations off what I have in my mind for this character, and a lot of it is like telling the story in my mind or with my friends of what he's going to be. I don't know. Maybe we should have. Gosh, what is your dog's name again?
Oh, my dog?
Jack. Jack. That's right. Jack.
Jackson.
Jackson. Okay,
Yeah.
Jackson. Little Wheaton in there.
Yeah. Well, would you say
Yeah.
that a bunch of character design is having these sorts of conversations? Like when you're in a studio with people, you're like riffing off each other and making jokes and having fun and trying to make something cool.
From what I've done, yes. There are some times when I have less of a say. Like currently, there's a lot of things that are already established, but we also have freedom to like push things and come up with new ideas. But like it's already based off of something that exists. Whereas my experience in advertising was very much like that. Like, oh, we're gonna make this robot that a little kid likes to play with. Yeah, let's do a bunch of designs for it and figure out what he's like. But yeah, okay, so John the washed up bartender. I'm just gonna do a couple more designs here. When I look at John, some of the things that stand out to me are his spiky, stylish hair.
There we go.
And he's got a very interesting, like, head shape. It's kind of got these. I really like doing sharp edges, and he's got a couple of those. I hope you don't mind me, like.
No, no, go for it. Absolutely.
Okay, okay.
No, like I don't know if you've seen like Court's caricature course or like some of those videos, but he came to Stan's 1-year-old's birthday party and he did like free caricatures and
Oh,
he
that's
did a caricature
awesome.
of me. Yeah, and he was like, "I hope you don't take offense." I'm like, "No, go for it." Like,
Yeah, I always try to ask first because when you do stuff in a way that like highlights people's the things that stand out
traits.
about people, yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes there are things that they don't want them to want to be highlighted, and that's okay. I want to respect that. But Christian said that you were a triangle. I don't know what you look like, but I'm going to
You're
make
making me
you.
look a lot more manly than I probably probably. I like that shape. Go for it. I
Oh,
like
you know what? Let's change it up. Let's give you a bit of a gut.
that. There you go. Yeah,
And
I got a little bit more of the dad bod.
this might be intimidating, I think, to some people to work this way. I don't want to assume. I know that I was kind of like I seize up when I work like this sometimes, just because of like nerves and performance anxiety.
Yeah.
Like I want to make a good silhouette, but like you
Mm.
see how much I'm going in there and like how much freedom working in silhouette gives you. And this anatomy isn't perfect, but that's fine. Like, I can change that later. What we're looking to get right now is some kind of an idea of what the character emotionally conveys with the design that we're doing.
Yeah, yeah. And I think a thing that a lot of people forget about concept art is it's fundamentally about the story that you're telling. It's not about the quality of the drawing or any of that kind of stuff. Like, if you miss the story, then it's like almost missing the point.
That's a really good point. Like, even in my day-to-day work, which is, like, again, more realistic, the goal is to, like, I hear this a lot, like, the goal is to solve the problem. And in this case, it's, what does this character look like? Why do they look like that? Rather than make something really cool, like, the goal is ultimately to make a character that makes sense for what we're doing. I don't know what that is.
Like cool shoulder pads. I could see him being like a
Interesting.
cool guard or something, like the head of the guard for the
That's
city.
kind of what it looks like.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's an evil bartender.
There you go.
This is one thing I like about this, is because if you just come back with a lighter shade of gray, I've got a cape.
I don't know why. I just look like a conquistador bartender at this point.
I like
I
it.
feel like
Yeah.
I still kind of like the first one. And I'm still trying to keep on top of, like, what time we are at.
Yeah.
Well, this, looking at this, doesn't really fit with the McGraw world at all. But I'm just going to keep him here because it's fun. And that's what this is about. And, you know, sometimes you'll present something to your director or your lead, and you won't think there's, like, anything good in it, but they will.
Yeah. Right. Well, and I think that's another point, is that artists are generally their own worst critics. And you could see your own flaws in your own art a lot better than anyone else can.
That's very true.
Yeah. Do you want to talk a bit about your background? Like, you know, I know you through Marshall Vandroff, and you know, you, I guess, worked in advertising for a while before getting into concept art for games. But do you want to talk a little bit about your trajectory and that kind of stuff?
Sure. I went to school at Fullerton Junior College in California, not to be mistaken with Cal State Fullerton, which is the bigger school. And there I met Marshall, which is how I met Christian. But somewhere along those lines, I was in a class with Phil Demetriadis, and he, amazing teacher. I had him for quite a few years, and one day he had a class where another artist was coming in, and he would do a workshop with us for characters. And I did well in the workshop. His name is Patrick Ballesteros. Amazing artist as well.
I saw him this weekend, actually, at Comic-Con.
Oh, did you really? That totally
Yeah.
makes sense. His stuff, I feel like his stuff is, like, really cool and really marketable, and he's got such an interesting style.
Yeah.
This is a really depressing looking. He's like, it's like I'm doing the body of Christian, like a tall, like slim, you know, athletic kind of guy, while keeping John's face in mind.
Yeah. Christian's at the bar with me.
Oh yeah,
and he's spilling his life's problems with his van life.
Yeah, he's trying to convince me to drink.
There we go. You've been there a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took that workshop with Patrick, and at the end of it, I had my business card and gave it to him at the end because he asked, like, does anyone have their business card? And I did, and then to my surprise, a couple months later, I was invited by him to work on a advertisement pitch with somebody that I would work with for years afterward by the name of Misko. And that was a Target Holiday Odyssey commercial. And I worked on commercials for, oh gosh, since I was like 23 or 24. So I worked on them, I think, for 3 or 4 years before I started applying to games. And I applied to work at ZeniMax Online Studios, and then I started working there. So I kind of went from advertising, like in the middle of that, I did some other projects like toy design and things like that. But was working freelance until now. I am an in-house concept artist. I'm really bad at like drawing and talking at the same time.
No. Well, yeah, again, I think it's an important thing is like, the path to, a lot of people would like to work as concept artists in games and do those kind of jobs. The path to doing that kind of thing is more linear than people might expect. And a lot of it is just, being a good person and having faith in yourself and, doing good work and following deadlines and stuff.
I think it's very much about like being a nice person and also being genuine and consistent. Like, I know there were times where I had a mentor or something that I just had like, I was really bad at focusing on stuff at the time, and like there were people who were kind enough to mentor me, and like sometimes I didn't do a good job. But I think like later on I learned like you have to be like reliable. That's one thing you have to do. Like reliably, like on time, a good person, or have good work. Like what's that trio of things that you need to be in order to be successful? It's good work, on time, nice person.
Yeah.
And you have to be like 2 of those things to be successful.
Yeah.
And
if you have all 3, you're golden.
Yeah, is the thought that you need to be 2 of those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel like all of the connections that I really value are the genuine connections that I've made. Like with Christian, I met him going to get some garlic noodles, and they were delicious.
Yeah.
Because like Marshall, I don't know if Marshall couldn't make it or what happened, but I ended up going with you, and like that was super fun, and we became friends.
Yeah.
And now we're friends still, like years later, even though we're on opposite sides of the country. You visited me, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at 1:23. Sorry if I'm rambling.
That's okay.
But yeah, I'm going to talk about the process real quick. I've got like, in my head, I've got this idea of like a tall guy who's kind of running a raggedy bar.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
That's okay.
To varying degrees of success, I'm not crazy about, like, there's some things there's something about this one that I really like, but I'm just going to keep it. I don't know if it's where I want to go. The other ones I'm going to go ahead and toss. But I want to keep the first one too, because I actually really like him.
I feel like that one's the patron. That's what's keeping my bar afloat. Is that one guy?
Yeah, that one guy.
Christian's the one guy that is keeping
he has the
me
same
from going
hair.
out of business. You
guys are really good friends. That's why these 2 characters have similar heads and hair.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna keep him to the side, but there's something, I think it's his face that I like. Maybe I should talk about doing faces, because faces are weird.
Yeah.
When I do faces, I just like to make a lot of shapes.
I think your camera froze, Christina.
Oh, is it still frozen?
Is it? Hey, John, do you see?
I think it's on your end, Christian. She's fine.
Okay.
So.
That's mine.
Phew. Um, so I guess like this dopey kind of guy, which is not John at all, but this is the kind of character that I have in my head of who he's gonna be. So I'm gonna give him like a weird spiky mohawk, maybe. I don't know. John's hair kind of inspires me to be there. His ears don't stick out really, so I don't know.
No, I have a very round face, round and oblong.
Yeah, those are the kind of ears that I wanted when I was little. Like my ears stuck
Oh,
out.
really?
There's nothing wrong with ears that stick out. I love ears that stick out. But when I was little,
I,
I was super self-conscious.
I feel like when it comes to like individual traits, people are either very self-conscious about their ears or their nose. That seems to be like the two common traits that
Oh my
people
gosh.
don't want you to draw attention to.
That's true. Like I think I have a bit
Yeah.
of like a honker. Like I got that one of those bumpy noses. I don't know if they're called Roman noses or whatever, but whatever. I like it. Um okay, yeah, so just trying a bunch of different like I'm imagining the next to, give him a huge Adam's apple. I don't know, like the spectacles back then probably would have, like if you wore glasses back then, they would have probably looked a little different than they do now. Oh man, what if I gave you like
A monocle.
side mohawk
Oh,
hair?
I like that.
Or I don't
that's
even know
cool.
what that is. Looks very evil. Looks like a clown almost. It's a creepy thing. But I'm just gonna go through a little stint on faces. Again, this is all just fun. And so I'm doing a lot of top, light on the top, heavy on the bottom, weight sort of things, because that just kind of feels like dopey to me. But you can get dopey in other ways. But really what this is just experimenting on different shapes. Let's try a two-part shape. So a rectangle on the top and kind of like this skater ramp sort of thing going on the bottom. And one thing I like to check that I'm doing is that I'm not making these sizes too equal. Like if I had made it like this, you can see that this is the same size, and this is the same size, and this is the same size. And that's kind of the stuff that I'm trying to avoid, just in this section, just with the style that I'm doing. Sometimes symmetry and being congruent is fine, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going to push this a little more. This guy's really... I feel like his head would be, like his head and his eyes would be right here. And this is some kind of like bowl haircut on top. I don't know. This is very
Kind of reminds me of like Johnny Bravo or something, a little bit.
or yeah, like a Neanderthal sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like his eyes would be up here, his nose would be like. But in the interest of time, I'm going to go with one of these. Was the answer. Let's do this guy. It's called Breathing Life into Characters, so let's do the most ridiculous one. And a lot of the questions I'm asking myself are like, why not? Like sometimes you get, oh no, okay, there we go. Sometimes you get kind of scared and locked up because you don't want to try new things. You're afraid you're going to ruin it.
Yeah.
But because I've kind of gotten to the point where I feel comfortable fixing things if I need to, I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
Were you going to ask something, Christian?
No, well, I've heard a lot of concept artists talk about the idea of like kit bashing with shapes.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you do a silhouette, you could totally take a piece off another silhouette and add it to the one that you're currently working on.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Sometimes I like to just like go with the flow. I watched a David Coleman video once, and well, not once, but like one of his videos, and he said that the goal was to make a better line than before. Yeah. So when you've made a silhouette that you like, and you're trying to, either go through with line. In this case, he was going over it with line. the goal isn't to like, oh, I have this. I always had trouble with this. I always had trouble with getting the silhouette to line. Like I would just be like, oh, I need to keep it perfect here and make sure it's the same. Well, that's not really most feasible because you lock up a lot, especially when you have to make nice lines. So I might be like, oh, this is a really cool shape. Like I'm going to enhance that a bit on this side. And this ear is really cool. I'm going to make it a bit bigger. And the line is nicer because I've done that.
Yeah.
Like there's a bit of like looseness and freedom. And that also makes your characters look more alive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I guess this is called breathing life into characters.
Yeah.
I could go from here. I could work in line. I really like working in silhouette for these. But I'm gonna work in line.
Yeah.
John looks very happy.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm
Christian.
very happy.
Okay,
This is
good.
cool. I'm enjoying this.
Nice. John the bartender. Oh God, that's very flattering.
I'm sorry.
I look so sad that Christian's my only customer.
No.
You want this? You want this beer? I made it for you.
I was listening to Craig Mullins give a talk once, and he was talking about how every time he does a piece of artwork, he starts differently. Like he'll try out new techniques and new programs and new brushes and all that kind of stuff all the time, just to change up just to make sure interesting new things keep happening.
Yeah, I think when I change up my methods of working, I definitely feel that I'm growing. But also sometimes I go back to like I have a couple of different ways of working in my repertoire when I get like, oh, this way of doing silhouettes isn't working, so I'm going to jump to line. Or if line and silhouette aren't working, I'm going to jump to kit bashing.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I think it helps like ultimately when you're on the job to get things done on time, because like when you're not getting something and you have a deadline and you're kind of worried about it, it's not a good feeling.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to look up what a Wild West bartender looks like because I honestly have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think, and imagine we talked about this before, but you use reference a lot in your concept artwork, right?
Yeah. To make things convincing, you really have to use reference. And a lot of the reference I use, too, is from stuff that exists in the game already. Because I have to make sure that, like, culturally and stylistically, the things I'm making will fit in the world. Yeah. So, like, if I'm really going to make a McGraw character, I would probably have, like, the characters up on the side just to make sure that they're fitting in the world.
Right.
Like, I doubt that I'm going to get some really good reference just offhand here. But let's look at this one. This is from some website called Posterazzi. I don't know. I wouldn't recommend necessarily going to it, but I got this off of Google. Just thought I'd give them a little credit there. Yeah. I like the mustache thing. Like when I do imagine bartenders, like I do imagine the slicked over, like oily sort of look. I don't know if that would make him look less pathetic. And I kind of, we got to make him look pathetic with like, I feel like his suspenders would be way up there maybe because his pants are too tight now. He's been wearing them for too long. And I'm just like thinking, what kind of stuff would he, like if you wear suspenders to hold up your pants, like they're gonna break, right? So, oh no, this one's broken. Poor guy. He'd probably have like a dirty shirt. You know how they have those, yeah, like those undershirts that are like this is his underwear that he's wearing. Like he doesn't even have a shirt.
Yeah,
I like how Christian just accepts what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that totally makes sense.
I like it. It's cool. It's sick.
They're too short too, right?
It's
His pants would
true.
be too
They
short.
don't make them in my size. I'm too big.
Hand me downs.
Hand me
I mean,
down.
he's been wearing them for so long that they've just. Well, that's kind of a cute little knee right there, little knob. I don't know. Should I go into color? I could. He'd
Yeah,
probably
sure.
have
Why not?
some
Yeah.
fancy shoes, but
Yeah, some
would we
golden
give him
shoes.
any shoes?
I don't know. I think shoeless could work too.
Shoeless could work. In real life, I have the hardest time finding shoes because of my foot size.
Yeah, he has really small feet.
No, I have huge feet. It makes buying shoes such a pain.
Yeah,
You should ask
So
your wife for help.
she wouldn't be no. Just it's the fact that nobody makes them. Like I would have to probably. I'm probably at the point where I just need to like have like custom made shoes, but that's super expensive. So
yeah.
Also, I realize how stereotypical what I said sounded, but I only say that because I know she likes shoes. What a sad little Stein.
oh,
You know, I
Christian, you're
feel
barely getting anything.
No,
yeah, it's
geez,
like
it's all ice too.
I
It's
didn't
all
have enough.
ice.
Oh, it's all ice. Yeah, it's you put an olive in it because that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's how you sell the price for it. I'm overcharging Christian
Yeah.
for this sad
Man, that's a
drink.
sad looking guy. Doesn't
Yeah.
really scream bartender to me though. I think that's kind of what would make it. I mean, he manages the place, right? So he'd probably have like.
Oh, he needs like a dish rag, right? I
Oh,
feel like
that's
Yeah,
a great
bartenders
idea.
have,
yeah. I
yeah,
could see him wearing like an apron as well, like Mo.
an apron.
Yeah, like Mo from Simpsons has an apron.
That'd be cute, actually.
That's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna get like maybe one of like it's covering his one of those just like waist ones, and it's
Oh
got
yeah. It's got a heart on it. Tiny
there
little
we go,
heart.
like little heart patterns. This is really accurate to the times. This shirt, I feel like he would roll it up. Do they put the dish rag like on their shoulder, or do they put it over their arm or something?
I feel like I see it like in the pockets sometimes, like jutting out of the pocket, or like if the apron has like a little pocket in it, sometimes it'll like
Oh, he has two
pop out.
pockets. One has a little.
I feel like with the hearts now, I feel like my saloon is going to be called the Lonely Heart Saloon because nobody enters it.
Yeah.
I'm helping you with
Christian's in there.
your character
Yeah.
story. Yeah, I know, but he's the only one.
Yeah.
So
I also
it
don't
fits.
drink as well, so
Yeah, so I made this
Yeah.
drink for him to not even drink.
yeah.
It's a Shirley Temple.
There we go.
I don't know if I like the design of those things is really cool. That's what I like about them. I don't know if it fits the character though. But you know what? I'll just keep them. I'll keep them for now because we are limited on time and the cutoff is strictly 2:00.
Yeah.
So we want to get this in. Oh, and you've got lots of hair on your legs. And probably a little injury where you put a Band-Aid to cover the boo-boo.
There we go. Nice.
His mom put the Band-Aid on his knee for him.
Aw. I think there's Jackson kissing the boo-boo.
Do you need a reference of Jackson really quick?
I'm probably going to keep Jackson out just for the
Okay.
I feel like I'm not going to do him justice in the time that I have, but we just dropped him in there just for some. You know what? A bartender would probably have gloves. No, but you're a bad bartender.
I am. I am a bad bartender.
And you know what? You probably would be. I say you, but this character would be like unshaven. And by doing these things, like we are having fun, but we're also going through like the mental discussion of what a lot of artists do is like, who is this character? And you can kind of see like the stuff, like all the stuff that we added um helps give him personality. Like this was super boring, right? It makes sense that he would have an apron. It makes sense that, he would have a dish rag. His sleeves would be rolled up. Like that all helps. Like that all gives you an idea of who the character is. Um, and the difference here is like we're talking about it, but that's good because it kind of shows like this is how you think about it.
Yeah, yeah, and it's really meant to be fun too. It's like definitely the conversational bit we were talking about earlier is relevant.
It is, yeah. That inner dialogue that I think a lot of people have
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
is really important to.
right. Well, I think another important part of this as well is you could draw, in your own way. Like your stuff is very stylistic and fun and cartoony, but then you can also use those skills as, a realistic concept artist at a place like, you know, ZeniMax on, more realistic games.
Yeah, I mean, those conversations still happen for when I'm concepting something more realistic, because you still have to tell the story, even if it's a realistic concept.
Yeah.
All right. Is
That's
uh-oh.
looking so good.
Uh-oh. Hang on, sorry, 1 second, I think. Sometimes this happens where my Photoshop is seizing up, so I just need to close the file and reopen the file, and I have to move it to the other screen because I have some things on there that people cannot see.
NDA.
Okay, let's move back over here to where we were.
Do you want to go a bit into color in the last
Sure.
17 minutes?
Oh yeah, 17 minutes. Okay. I will show how we set up this guy. Alrighty. And this is just how I like to do it. By the way, this tool right here is so awesome, the object selection tool. I don't think it's going to work here, but it's just a really quick way of selecting specific things. See how awesome is that? Like I didn't have to do it, and you can like highlight stuff and click on it. But yeah, just a quick tip. I want to go to the magic wand tool and invert it. Okie dokie. I didn't get everything I wanted, so I'm just going to go in there and fill it real quick. Okay, so we have our base, because I'm just going to do some really quick color. I'm sorry, Jackson, I'm going to move you to the side.
That's okay.
You're distracting me a little bit right now, and I'm going to get color on him.
We have a question, by the way.
Oh, do
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so sorry I missed the early part. Is this in a way similar to script playwriting that you ask questions about the backstory of the character?
Is this similar to script playwriting where you ask questions about?
Probably from like a scripting point of view. I'm sure like when writers are around a writing table, I'm sure they're constantly asking about like the character's backstory and how that
Yeah, so it took
informs what
me
they are. Yeah.
yeah, it took me a second to process the question. I wasn't like, what kind of a question is that? No, that's a really good question. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of experience being a writer, but I would imagine that the creative process is probably somewhat similar. Why am I doing it this way? This is not normally how I work, but you know what? Why
Go
not?
for it.
We'll
Nice.
do it. Right now I'm adding just some general shading. One thing that is important to keep in mind when you're designing is that contrasts pull the eye. So whether that's contrast in light or contrast in color or contrast in shape, line size, line width, whatever, that is going to pull your eye. So I really like to have the area of most contrast, or the area of most detail, like areas of detail versus areas of space. I like to have that be where I want people to look. Okay, so we will do that. This is interesting. I really don't normally work black and white. I think that's my work side coming in.
Yeah.
Normally I just like to put the color, but let's take a look at John's face right now. Make him, you know what though? Would he be flushed? No, he wouldn't. Like, again, like we're storytelling. We're storytelling with color. Like, would this bartender be like a healthy glow? Probably not. He'd probably look sickly and a little green. So I'm gonna make him sickly and a little green. I'm sorry,
Oh
John.
no!
Oh,
Not only am I
he's not looking
failing,
good.
It's
my
probably
business
cute.
is failing, but my health is deteriorating too.
I'm
This is not what
sorry.
I was expecting.
I mean, these characters have to be designed, right? Like,
Um, oh, and then a follow up. Yes, thank you. I was curious if artists would discuss the background, era, social, what happened to this person. So yeah, I mean, they definitely do when they're character designing.
oh yeah, like I mean, sometimes you won't get like a detailed script because the character's not fleshed out, but sometimes you will because it's a more detailed production.
Yeah, yeah, and I've heard artists coming up with their own like their own personal backstory for the character that they're drawing just to increase the like like the fun of actually designing that character.
Yeah, I mean, if you get yourself excited for something, it's going to show in your work. And even if it's not the most exciting thing to design, when you're excited, people tend to be as well.
Yeah.
We're using a lot of muted colors because, well, sorry, John, but your business is failing.
Do people ever like compare your work? Because I feel like this kind of character would be like in a Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, you know what? I've gotten that a lot over the years.
Okay.
I'm very flattered by that because I think his designs are amazing.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Like I feel like your character designs would fit right in
Yeah.
line with his style.
Somebody used to tell me that, like, this was back when I thought my work was cute. Um, Somebody used to tell me that my designs were creepy, and I looked back, and I was kind of like, I wasn't buying it at first, but then I looked back and I just saw that footprint of everything looking a little bit off, and
Yeah.
then it made sense. I'm like, wow, you're actually right.
Yeah, well, I think it is cute in a cool way. Like
In a
it.
yeah weird
Well, but
way.
I mean, Tim Burton stuff is cute. It's like a.
Yeah,
I've heard Marshall talk about this. It's like the contrast of two opposites. You know, cute and creepy together end up being this really iconic style. You know.
yeah.
That's true.
I feel like you need to send him your like McGraw character designs, and he can make the McGraw universe happen.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. I like how you just have one ear, by the way. Like that wasn't intentional, but maybe you were a wrestler in the past and you lost your ear
I Van
or
Gogh'd
a
myself.
boxer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one thing here that we are losing is again, like with the contrasts. If I don't have that option on right now. Um but like the contrast, like the lighting is towards the face more. Okay, that's cool, but I think we could really push it if we add contrasting colors into the face. So let's add a little
Could you
bit
add some stink
more.
lines, by the way?
That's a great idea.
I saw the shadow or the fog on
Here.
the stink
Okay.
lines.
Oh, he definitely needs some sync lines. Like this character was
100%.
built for that kind of thing.
What are sync lines?
The stink
Like
lines.
you're stinky.
Yeah.
Oh, stink lines.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add some more green up here, maybe some purples to just really sort of like, and I know this is, I mean, I'm using a round brush, like this isn't anything super exciting. That's not, why is that looking weird? I think it's like the brush is building.
Christina, someone wants to know, do you have to stick to a color scheme at this stage, or does that come later in the process?
Usually you will do color comps. I am not doing that just for the sake of time. And whoever was asking, if you are familiar, maybe you are, but if you're not, as a viewer, that basically just means you do a couple different color tests to see which one looks the best. So I might do him with like orange hair or purple hair. Just a lot of different tests to see which ones work the best. And sometimes that will be based on like other things in the world. So he will have to exist, like having somebody with red hair next to somebody who has red hair, like that might be fine, but maybe in your world, you know, you don't want to do that. Okay, stink lines. Sorry guys, I'm trying to get this done really fast because it cuts off exactly in 9 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where does that stink line come from? Probably from his mouth. Like, just give it a little bit more green. Why not? This is not a perfect color test. All right, okay. You know, if we made your hair orange though, or red, like
I was gonna say
like
it might be good to
up there.
You might want to like make the hearts like orange or something. Give a little pop.
If we did, our eyes would
Go to
That's
the
a great
hearts.
idea, but yeah, our eyes would probably go more to the hearts when we want them to go.
See, that's why I'm not the
the
professional artist.
You are a professional. You are the what was it?
I'm a rundown
Advertising.
bartender.
Oh yeah, you are the professional in this room.
Yeah.
All right, I'm just gonna wrap this up because I know we're coming to the end. Does anyone have any last questions on this lovely character we've designed today?
Let's see.
It kind of looks like Marshall a little bit as well.
Really?
I could see a little bit of Marshall. Yeah.
I don't see it.
I don't see
Poor Marshall.
The bald on top. I could see a little bit of Marshall.
Let's see. And the color scheme of the character would be designed at the same time as the color scheme of the world building?
The color scheme.
Okay. So I think what he's asking is like, when you're going to design these characters, do you already have the color scheme of the world that's being created when you're designing these characters, or do you have to wait until that's been kind of finalized?
I don't feel like that I'm qualified to answer that. But when I'm working, I generally have a rough at least, and then I design the color scheme of the characters. Like in my experience, the characters and the environment kind of are thought like similarly. But I feel like it's different depending on what you're working on. So I don't think that answer helped very much. I am sorry.
So they don't. So like when someone asks you to provide characters for the world they're creating, they don't give you like a color scheme to like start out with. It's more of just like they adapt it to what you create, or they'll adapt your characters to what the color scheme of their world is.
If they already have some concepts for the world, I will definitely take those like if it's a very desaturated world, then I'll definitely take that into consideration when designing the characters. Like I'm not going to make a super cartoony, bright, vibrant character unless that fits in with what they were trying to do. But I think it also depends like if you're working like as a visual development artist versus if you're working as a production artist, and a lot of things have already been like decided. So I think it depends on where like the decision making is currently. I am so sorry, person. That was a very vague answer, but I hope that helped you in some way.
Yeah, it looks so good.
Well, he looks sad, so we've got that going for us. This is not how I usually work, but I thought it was kind of fun.
Hey, Christina, just a 5 minute heads up.
Hello, thank you. I'm just gonna make
Yeah.
him a little more presentable, and we can do that by making a very vague shadow on the ground.
Yeah.
It's funny. I feel like this goes a long way um, to placing something on the ground. Just a little shadow at the bottom. Maybe a nicer one than that, but All right, let's give him. And like what we've done here is not production ready. Like this is like a fun way to explore, a way to talk about how to, get your ideas out, how to brainstorm, what kind of questions to ask yourself when designing characters that will help you to make things that feel a little bit more um, alive because we are breathing life into characters.
Well, and I know you said that this wasn't like production ready, but like you could still take this sketch and then flush it out if you wanted to continue
Oh,
along
for
these
sure.
lines, I feel like.
Yeah.
And that's pretty valuable too.
Yeah, do you want to show some of your sketches that actually might be production ready? Something that is this stuff that you're allowed to show?
I do not have anything for Elder Scrolls that I would show, but I will show my very old portfolio. And if anyone's curious, this is what I had when I was hired. Ooh, you know
Oh,
what?
yeah, by the way, as we're kind of winding down, promote yourself, Christina, like
Yeah.
where people can find you and follow you and all that fun stuff. So,
I can be found on Instagram.com / Christina underscore Cornett is my Instagram. My art station is Christina Cornett. And yeah, this was what the portfolio that I was hired with. Um, I was actually hired for a more cartoony project that didn't get released, but it was announced. So I'm okay with mentioning it. But something that is more production ready would be something more along the lines of this. We got some expression sheets. We got some turnarounds. These are super important for 3D artists to come in and model the character. And a call out sheet that talks about textures, what stuff is made of, so people can come in and replicate these. Like, this looks kind of like a suede glove. Here we go. Like, here's a call out to that kind of material. So I would say that kind of thing is more production ready than what we have here. But there's a lot of really talented artists that can just take a design like this and like turn it into something as well. And there you go.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much,
Yeah, thanks,
Christina.
Christina.
Yeah, thank you guys
Great.
for sticking out this with me because it was definitely an adventure that I did not have planned.
Yeah, we
Yeah, thanks so
started
much.
with some rough designs and ended up with me as a sickly bartender with a failing business. So
Yeah, thanks so much.
yeah,
Really
no, this was
appreciate it.
great. Thank you so much, and yeah, thanks for being here at Vision X. And we've got another stream today with Tiffany Mang at 3 p.m. I guess it depends on where you're located, but definitely check that out and enjoy the rest of the Vision X convention.
Thank you all, and thank you, Vision X. Goodbye.
Bye. Cool. Do I stop recording? Or
Yes,
okay.
I'll stop.